Welcome to Unaccountable, the world's okayest accounting game show podcast for product news, updates, and education. I am your wealth whisperer of a host, Tyler Otto, and I'm joined by the gain gladiator that is Jeremy Van Grohl. Good day, sir.
Good day. Gladiator, huh? Ooh.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius.
I am the father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
I mean, arguably some of Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix's best work. Yeah, now I'm going to have to go rewatch that. Dude, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute, and I heard you were on the road last week, right?
Yeah. I went to San Diego, made my raccoon glasses line even worse out in the sun. It was wonderful. Get out of Utah for a couple days.
Yeah, what? Well, please tell us what you were doing there.
So I went to the Accounting Today forum. We're trying to be more and more, Jeremy, dare I say, legitimate participants in this accounting industry. And so I went and represented our half-ass podcast at the Accounting Today Growth Forum. For a second year conference, surprisingly well attended by vendors and just like a well put together program. Like, kudos to them.
Oh, so it's only the second year. I did not know that.
I mean, I think that's what I picked up. But yeah, this was year 2.
Oh, cool. You know, there's all sorts of periodicals and new things out there. Like, I feel like Accounting Today we've referenced a lot of their articles. They put together good information out there, just like we do, except professionally, right? To give people updates on what's out there. That's pretty cool. So yeah, what did you think?
So first and foremost, like, good content, really well ran event. But it's interesting. You and I, like, we go to events like Scaling New Heights, BKX, QuickBooks Connect. At least at those events, there is a lot of tech-forward firms, smaller but very new tech-forward firms there. Accounting Day Forum, a lot of the other participants I ended up talking to, these are people that are at firms that have been running for 30 years. And this whole going to the cloud thing is still new. This whole entirely remote firm thing is new. One of the speakers on stage was totally shocked that another one of the presenters was like, wow, you only do lawyers? Like, niching was kind of like a novel concept to some of the people in the room. And so these firms that are crushing it and doing some cool stuff on a larger scale, getting private equity involved and, you know, really doing some cool things with outsourcing, they're also new on the tech train. It was really interesting to see, as you and I are very tech forward, like, we figured some things out these 30-year-old firms haven't, Jeremy.
Do you feel like the age demographic there was a little bit older as well, or not?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say I was maybe one of the more spry young bucks, but I wouldn't say it was it was an old person's room. There were definitely some youngers as well. But some of the things that blew my mind, I got talking to one of the presenters, one of the panelists on one of the sessions, and he runs a successful tax firm on the East. He has Big Four experience. He's a speaker making the rounds. He has his own firm, and he even says the hardest thing right now for him is finding bookkeepers. He has Big Four experience and he doesn't know how to do bookkeeping. He's never had to do it in his life. And so you see some of these bigger firms that are starting out as tax advisement practices, tax planning, wealth management. They don't know how to do the bookkeeping. They're literally hiring people from the cold saying, great, come in and do the bookkeeping, and hoping that person will train them and become the bookkeeping part of their firm. It kind of blew my mind when I hear what the other side of the aisle is doing, because you and I have attacked this industry from the bookkeeping side first. The CAS, as you refer, cloud accounting, or cloud accounting services, or client accounting services, however you want to refer to it. The CAS practice is still new and something a lot of the people in the room have not figured out.
Do you think that would present an opportunity for them to outsource those activities to more tech-minded, forward-thinking firms?
I think it would. I also think there were plenty in the room that are looking for acquisitions, looking for ways to grow and scale this. I went to one of the sessions about how to scale, how to grow acquisitions and mergers, and even the role of private equity. And they said, like, there's appeal for even smaller firms if these firms have a niche and have figured out a specific industry, a specific tech stack, and can complement an existing $15, $20 million firm they buy. They could roll it up into that to build the CAS practice. So a lot of our listeners who are, CAS practices, there's hope for them to even get acquired and really make a big difference for some of these bigger firms.
So that's a cool take, but do you also think that we could market to that? So like, let's say there is a firm, and you talked about how they're not into niching. And I feel like
Yep.
mine's a little easier here than yours would be to go with this tactic that, hey, you do a lot of tax or compliance, right? Not tax filings for nonprofits, bigger ones out there. You got to be struggling getting some crappy books all the time. Do you ever think about like, hey, let's partner up, throw a dog a bone here and like, let's make this mutually beneficial?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's plenty of instances to partner up, as long as you're not stepping on their turf. Absolutely. I will say one of the other key takeaways I got out of this, and when a presenter says something you already know, but like you've never really just absorbed, and you're like, gosh, I knew this, but why have I not acted on it? But he likened it to, why is it in our industry, Jeremy, that we allow our clients to tell us how processes work, right? Like you can't walk into a bank and tell them, hey, I need money and here's how I'm going to give you documents and you've just got to figure it out, find the data and do things my way. No, like there is no other industry where you get to walk in and tell them how it's done. Yet so often we let our clients do it. Like we let them say, here's how I do things. I have one client right now that wants to run his revenue through 3 different systems. He's duplicating the reporting, is like, well, I don't want to spend the extra money to do it in one system because the merchant fees are higher. So you guys just figure it out. Like he's expecting to save money on merchant fees by doing it across different systems. And then he just expects us to pick up the work and not charge him more. I am instantly just going to say, yeah, we can absolutely do that. It doubles the work and we're going to charge you twice as much and you just lost your savings. But like, those are the issues I see where it's so often we let clients tell us, and gosh, it makes our life easier if we just systemize. Here's your payroll platform. Here's your AP platform. Here's your accounting software. Yes, you get to choose your point of sale, and that's about it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with this. And I'm like, you wonder when the right point is where you're going to dig in and be like, this is it, right? I've talked to my team about that for at least a couple of years, and like, the better that we can get to the nonprofit bookkeeping way. And here is the round hole and you are that round peg and we're going to force it in there, right? Like you're going to do things our way, makes things so much easier for us, more profitable for us, less training, all that stuff. You can onboard them so much faster because you know all the things, right? And like, I'm waiting for when I get that bold and just be like, nope, we're not straying from this anymore. Here's the way, we're going that way.
No, and I think the interesting thing here is so many of the firms we've even talked to there, they were all regional firms. They have built themselves by being the best of Northwest Wisconsin, by being the best of, lower Seattle. And yes, there's huge opportunity, especially if you systemize. I can't tell you how many clients I prospect that are with Belay Solutions. And they're just like, yeah, I'm on Bill.com because they require that. I'm on this software because they require that. Belay's figured it out because they're just forcing the clients, no, you got to be on our tech stack. So I think there's huge opportunities for us there.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. How many people did you just go up and schmooze and suddenly like Tyler just shows up in the circle and you're really good at that?
Well, I mean, that's how you and I became friends, right? Because I was not part of the inner circle and I schmoozed my way in. You'd be proud of me, Jeremy. I was standing around with a couple of firm owners, shooting the breeze. And apparently one of the firms there is one of Xero's largest firms in the US, so much that Xero was taking the 3 members of this firm to dinner. I happened to be there and that firm just said, oh, we're bringing Tyler on too. He's great. And so then I ended up going to Xero's dinner out on this little pier thing and getting myself invited. As you remember, Jeremy, I have no clients on Xero, but I end up spending the night hanging out with them and getting them buying me dinner. Thank you, Kelly and Tyler. Love you guys. We'll chat soon. And obviously that works perfectly with our guest today, who is also a Xero lover, but spend some time with them. Cool folks. So yeah, working my way in.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get to him because I'm super excited because I was really excited. But we talk about Xero. What did you think of the vendors there and the boost? Like, are they the more tech savvy, like forward thinking vendors that are trying to court this group? Or what did you think of that compared to some of the other ones you talked about?
There was a lot of new vendors I've never seen. I mean, there's the usual suspects we know and love: Keeper, Avalara, Xero, FreshBooks, like the ones you would expect. Yeah. But there were some other like outsourcing companies I've never seen. There is one new software that's coming up as an app snack that, Jeremy, how many AP platforms do we know? Receipt capture and AP that they're all a dime a dozen, right? I actually found one there that blew my mind. If you are in construction or in the food and beverage industry, and you need line item level detail that is smart, that auto adjusts, that figures everything out, Maker's Hub. These guys blew my mind with their AP software. We will be app snacking them soon, made friends with them. There was a couple new softwares in there. Another one for like, it's an AI assistant for tax planning. So like it'll search all your existing tax returns across all your clients and look for opportunities and start sending out mass emails. It was beautiful. And it's like $1 per client per month. So like they're just looking for market capture. We'll put it in the show notes if you guys want to know, because I'm doing this off the cuff. But there were some really cool new vendors there, even outsourced firms for like energy credits, because energy credits have become transferable. And so a lot of like looking for outsourced partners where, hey, Jeremy, do you want an easy way to save your clients 10% on taxes after the fact? That's what these firms can do, is they can sell you energy credits from other clients, because now those are transferable and you can get, 90 cents on the dollar. So you can save 10% by buying these. So a lot of like different vendors that we don't see as much at QuickBooks Connect, Scaling New Heights, BKX.
I feel like some of that energy credit stuff is kind of shady, but that's probably a conversation for another day. Was there anyone?
There was actually I will say there was a session on that. And literally one of the questions from the audience goes, so the IRS is making a registry that they don't verify anything, but people can sign up for credits and then sell them. How rampant is the fraud going to be? And it's like, is this PPP version 2.0? We don't know, because this is the wild, wild west. It's like 4 months since it's been finalized on all the regulations. Who knows what's going to come out of this?
Oh, yeah, right. Again, that just strikes me as kind of shady overall. Oh, were there any vendors that were like early school keeper there with their notebook and stickers trying to get you to sign up because they're that new to the world? I feel like there wouldn't be, but I would love it if there was, because that would be the one that I would go hang out with.
So the software I was telling you about that, can look at tax returns, TruePrep.ai. And that was their inaugural event. Like I asked them, how long have you guys been doing this? So like, we started building it 5 months ago. This is the release today. Like at the forum, two guys that they used to have a firm and they're getting out of running it and building it. So TruePrep AI, one that I at least want to poke around and see what comes out of these guys. The rest of them, they were your usual suspects, OnPay, Kipsy. But Jeremy, I think I made some really cool connections, or a lot of people patronized me and just dealt with talking to me. We'll find out.
It's all right. Could go either way. Love it.
I might have secured a future speaking gig. We don't know.
Nice. Those are good.
Jeremy, it's that time again. We have a guest, and honestly, it feels like we're moving up in the world now. Like we're actually getting people that, they're trailblazers. They've done things that we're aspiring to do. They have a name. And so I'm excited to introduce our guest and our friend, dare I say, because we have the same editor, Scotty Scarano, the OK rapper of Accounting High, podcast royalty. Welcome to the show, sir.
I don't know about royalty, but thanks for having me on. This is going to be fun.
So, Scotty, you have Accounting High, formerly Sons of CPA. For those that are missing out in life and haven't listened, can you try and distill down your podcast, your empire for them in, what they need to know?
It's only aspirations of an empire. I'm trying to build a whole entire school in my mind here. So, as Ian has heard plenty of times, I just brought him up because he's editing this. I guess I don't even know how to answer the question from the onset, because I don't know what it is yet, to be fair. Like, I've been talking about all this stuff, that I want it to be a school, that I want it to be a community, that I want it to this, and this. But really, at the end of the day, it's just a show. It's just a podcast. And now it's a YouTube channel that we've been building up as well. We've been doing fun stuff outside of it. I know you guys have mentioned the bracket challenge that we did at Accounting High. I do some raps as like above the funnel stuff, just fun, like parodies. I know you guys have done a parody. I had listened to your January ends. I didn't even know how to say it. January ends. Yeah. So you're no stranger to that. I've been doing it with raps, just having fun. Everything that we've done is in the name of fun. And if it's not fun, then I'm bored and I don't want to do it. So like all of it's aimed at like basically the same kind of thing that you guys are doing, where you want to do things that it just maybe didn't feel like there's a point to it, but that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were going to say something, Tyler. I didn't want to.
No, I just wanted to like talk about, first of all, your March Madness. I am so angry at you guys for that because, first of all, I had no idea you guys were doing this. And I was like, ooh, Jeremy, it'd be fun to do a March Madness. But like what we had envisioned in our mind was very half-assed. Like we were just going to make our own bracket and just come up with it ourselves. And then we see what you guys are doing and we're just like, oh, they full-assed this. Like they really went all in. And like it was beautiful the way you built it, the way you hyped it. Like it was a master class on how to get involvement from different vendors, sponsors, spotlights. Like it was beautiful. And I am green with envy on how well you executed that this year.
Wow, that makes me red with joy. That's so cool. Thank you for saying that. That's dope. And we didn't half-ass any of it. Like it was a labor of love, let's just say, but a lot of work. I created a new tax season for myself. So I have a practice that I would spend all of my days there, 80 hours a week plus, working on my practice. Now that I have all this extra free time, I got to find something that's going to keep me busy. And now I spend 80 hours plus on that. Like this tax season was basically just run by the tournament. And it was like, and most of the stuff we're just making up as we go along. We have a loose structure of how it's going to be, but obviously we can't plan the rest of it. So it's all just a ton of fun and enjoyment. Ian kind of played back what you said. He didn't play it back, like literally play it, but he told me kind of what you guys said around that time. And that's the kind of stuff that I used to say too. Like I wanted to do something and I just didn't have the bandwidth or time to do it. And then somebody else is doing it already. Like Lil Dicky with the raps. Like that's the kind of stuff. If you know who that is, or Dave Bird, like I would watch that and look at him, what he was doing. And I'm like, man, I've had ideas like that. I've been wanting to do that forever. So I just started doing it. So like I said before, and as I'm saying now, you guys are doing stuff like that. You guys are doing a game show. You're having a ton of fun doing it, and you're doing exactly what I would have done. So if that's like I had no idea it was all happening until Ian told me he was editing y'all's show. So it's dope.
I think we aspire for full assing because my anaconda don't want none if it ain't got buns on.
Oh, we got a rapper.
Well, Scotty, I'm excited to run you through Fast Figures, our gauntlet that troubles even the most seasoned of accountants. Half of it's going to be shenanigans, half of it on topic, and we're going to see how you do. How do you feel up for the challenge, sir?
All right. So I took my medicine today and I'm a little high, so I don't think I'm going to do very good. But the medicine balances out being a little high, so I'll do average, probably.
I love it.
Welcome to Fast Figures. 10 questions. 1
Is
minute.
this Ben?
Ish. All answers are numbers. The game starts now.
Yes, as you pointed out, that is Ben Stein's voice that we got to do.
Oh, that's genius. You're getting Ben Stein kind of like Bueller, like getting him to do the voice. Brilliant. Keep going. I recognized him, though.
I absolutely love that. All right, let's put 1 minute on the clock and then we'll debrief. Within 15%, according to an estimate by the AICPA, what percentage of CPAs became eligible to retire in
75.
2020? How many episodes of Accounting High have been published to date?
No. Oh, 210, 29, 209, 209. Yes, go. I should know that.
According to your LinkedIn resume, how many advisory boards have you served on or are you serving on?
Like 5.
What is the perfect score on an SAT exam, a popular competence assessment for high schoolers?
2,400? I don't know. 1,600? 1,600.
Given you are on staff at Accounting High, what is the maximum deduction for educator expenses in 2024 on their taxes?
$350?
How many Grammys has Eminem won as of 2024?
4?
The Tour de France starts at the end of this month. How many stages are in the full race?
I have no idea. 3.
Within 20%, according to a recent Carbon survey, what percentage of accounting firms aren't using AI at all?
Oh, 60?
How many problems does Jay-Z have?
99.
Starting December 31st, 2025, California will begin requiring retirement plans for companies with more than how many full-time employees?
3.
Well done, sir. How you feeling after that?
70%.
One of my favorite comments we ever got was from Deanna at Relay, who said she feels like she just got cyberbullied.
I was nervous. I was nervous on this a little bit.
Let's run through them, though, and see how you did. First and foremost, within 15%, according to an estimate by the AICPA, what percentage of CPAs became eligible to retire in 2020? You didn't even need that 15% window. 75% is the exact number. Scotty,
Wow.
I'm curious your take on what's going to happen in our industry as it's becoming a dying breed, a dying profession.
I don't think anything's going to happen, to be honest.
No?
Yeah, it's just a wave that we're kind of going through. I don't know.
Okay.
I think we're going to have a more concentrated. So I don't know how long of an answer you want, but I've got answers for this question because it's near and dear to my heart, right? I think people will go into accounting. I think it's going to become less and less relevant in a sense that most of it will be automated, but people still want a relationship and a service provided on top of that, all that automation. So most of the things that we've been doing that we maybe take for granted now, the automations that we have now that we're taking for granted, a lot of it's all going to be automated, and we're still going to have a relationship, and we won't need as many people as we used to need. So yeah, a lot of people are retiring. We can replace a lot of what they were doing and upskill our people.
Are we changing the skill set that's needed, right? Like from stuffy number cruncher to relationship manager. That's the stigma that's out there, right? That you're an accountant. And I think I just heard a Jim Gaffigan joke when he was at a Drake concert, and he's like, everyone thinks I'm his accountant. But yeah, do you need to get that new skill set where you relate to people and like ask hard questions and provide the insight and guidance and all that? I think you're right. Like it's going to move in that direction.
It's a great way of putting it. You distracted me with the whole Drake thing now my mind's on all of that. The problem doesn't solve itself, but it's a big problem for the AICPA. And I've said this a lot, like that means that people don't need to become CPAs, and they could effectively manage a client relationship and outsource as much of the work as they can, or still like, I just think that we're leaving room now to fill that 75% with non-credentialed people, especially in running the businesses. And I think that could be a wise move. So we'll see.
I wholeheartedly agree, because right now no one wants to do audits. It's you pay for a result anyways. And so we're in this weird part where what do you need a CPA for? I haven't needed one to build my firm, and we've been growing at a clip that, feels rather successful. Yeah, like what's going to happen to the industry? I don't know if it's going to affect a lot of us because Cass doesn't need it.
I think I'm optimistic, overly optimistic, because there's people out there like you guys and like Accounting High that are making accounting cool, right? So accounting is Jim Gaffigan. We've all been seen and known as that. The nerdy one on the side. We're always played by the nerd in the movie and all that. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty important thing that we're doing. All the stuff that we do, we're handling money. Finance is the lifeblood of all of it. So that's not going to go anywhere. It's just like you said, Jeremy, like pivoting and redirecting a little bit on what we do and what we focus on.
Question 2, just to see how well you know your own podcast. How many episodes have been published to date? Now, you are correct. It may be 240 if you count non-numbered episodes, but the last one and the last answer you gave me was 209. You are correct at 209. Well done, sir.
I hope.
With a great podcast about trying to get down to 40 hours, which I know is still a struggle for me. So love that episode. Great work. Yeah. But let's dive into a little bit more questions, because according to your LinkedIn resume, how many boards have you served on? You said 5. I'm not saying you're actually wrong. I'm just saying LinkedIn says you're wrong. You have 4 listed on there between Gusto and Digits and a few others.
And FreshBooks and Xero. Yeah.
FreshBooks and Xero. I wanted to ask you more this question because as we are building our podcast, Jeremy and I are getting more and more access and exposure to these companies and their leadership, their lead developers, their programmers. You clearly crack the code by being on advisory councils. What does building those partnerships do for you as a firm owner and just an influence in the industry to get what you need out of this industry?
Oh man, that stuff changed my life. There would be no Sons of CPAs if it wasn't for Xero and that partner council. There wouldn't be any of this stuff that I'm doing if it wasn't for that, because I got to finally meet people outside of my own geographic area. Like this was before, I guess it was during the rise of the socials, but it wasn't really, we weren't as connected around that time. And I got to meet some people in person that were all like me, that were thinking differently and looking forward and, tech forward too. So they picked the best of the best people to come in because they want to hear from them too. So I got to meet, and it created a peer group for me of like-minded individuals in this profession. And then everything kind of blossomed from there. And then the connections I made through there led to another one. I was in a partner council with Will Lopez, and then he started the partner council at Gusto. So obviously that was a natural progression. And then I got to know Twyla Verhelst when she started at FreshBooks. And so that kind of led to that one too. And the digits thing, it was just like they kind of met me and invited me. And I think it's more of a marketing thing for them. I never actually went to anything yet. So I don't even know if they work with Xero. So our firm is built on Xero. But that's kind of like, it was just a natural progression of people that I met. And then it's like the conversations that I was having on the show was really helpful for a lot of these apps too. They would listen to the show. And then so that's kind of like, I don't know, I'm just talking about the things I'm interested in. And it's always the fringe stuff or obviously like the really interesting things, moving technology forward and moving the industry forward. Those are the things that we talk about in there. And then they want some product feedback. So we can provide that too.
I'm curious, for the small firm owner that's just getting started, making connections with these softwares and getting, to be able to test stuff and influence how the products are shaped and shifted. How do you go about making those relationships starting out? Like, what would you advise them to start making those inroads and getting involved in these communities? What's the best path forward?
Putting themselves out there. It's easier now than it ever was. Just exactly what you guys are doing, making a show, mentioning people, talking about the apps, and then you get guests to come on and things like that. That's potentially a path. You could just go on LinkedIn and post all the time and mention the apps. They will notice you. Anything that you do to talk about them, it's more exposure for them too. So if you fancy yourself an expert in something, just talk about it. That's one way. I think I was uniquely positioned because I'm part of a franchise too. And a lot of these apps would see me as a gateway to getting to other franchisees. So I think that's what got me into the Xero thing in the first place, like the Xero partner. And that's how I made a lot of those connections. So I had a bit of an advantage because I could have represented change that came through a whole organization, which did happen with Xero. Xero paid a lot of attention to me and they got into my entire franchise. And now they have 2,000 organizations on the product. So it worked out for them, and they just paid for me to go to San Francisco and San Diego and stuff. So it was a win-win.
But you say that like there wasn't a ton of work just starting the whole franchise or however you got involved with that in the first place. So like, got to own that effort that you did as well and take some kudos that was a good effort. Well done.
I guess I knew where I was positioned, though. I knew that I could make change and influence change because I was one of the younger ones in that organization. So, and they started taking notice to the things that I was doing, especially with the growth that we had and just the technology, the way that we were adopting new tech around that time. It was unheard of. You had one desktop software that you were using for years and just waited a year for the next update, or you had to get some CDs in the mail for the updates. So cloud tech was something brand new. It was fascinating. It was fun times. It's still fun times now. We still got a lot of new stuff.
Excellent work. Well, next question, giving the high school tie-in of Accounting High. What is a perfect score on the SAT exam, a popular competence assessment for high schoolers? You, at the very end, said 1,600.
1,600.
Well done, sir. And given you're on staff at Accounting High, what is the maximum deduction for educated expenses in 2024? You said 350.
It's probably 550 or something.
300. You were pretty darn close, sir. I'm impressed. But I mean, educator expenses only $300. That's what
crazy.
We're giving them.
It's always been a joke. That's a joke line item there, and
it should be like $10,000. Like we should be paying. We should just waive their taxes.
But it still should be like a below the line thing too, or something that they can do on a different area. This is just like a kind of a joke. I think it's on the front page though, isn't it? Like it's a front page deduction, which is still pretty good. But $300, like what are they even doing?
It's laughable. No, I mean, we royally hose over our teachers.
That we do. Yes, that we do. I don't get paid anything at Accounting High. So there's that.
Well, as the janitor, I mean, I don't know if you qualify for that deduction.
I don't know, minimum wage, something like that.
I mean, we're coming into summer here too, so this is probably the high for the teachers. Is like, hey, it's the time.
Summer camps, yeah, I know.
All right. Next question, Scotty. How many Grammys has Eminem won as of 2024? You said 4. The correct answer is 15 friggin' Grammys. Well done, sir.
Dope. Yeah, I was off on that one. I don't know how a Grammy is nominated. Like, I'm thinking album of the year and stuff, but there's a lot of categories. Yeah.
But it's, it's good. I'm sure you're tracking how far behind you are because you're going to gain on him soon.
If I were to ever be in a position to be talking about winning a Grammy for something, that would be my lifelong goal. That would be dope.
Right.
We're on the accounting high Scotty OK rapper hype train. We will gladly start tugging that too.
Submit my what is it, like a nomination or something?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Next question. The Tour de France starts at the end of this month. How many stages are in the full race? You said 3. The correct answer is 21. Just curious, anyone stays up on it. 21 days of racing, and, they'll do 60 miles some days. Yeah, 4,000 vertical feet.
I feel like I'm dying on rolling hills. I can't imagine, like, Alps biking. No, thank you.
Jeremy, I will say, remember a while ago when I found you on Strava and I started following you because you and I like to road bike, but it's actually some Jeremy in France that does insane climbs, but he's Jeremy VG. Yeah. So every so often, Jeremy, I want to message you when I see you did epic climbs.
I travel.
Makes you look good. Within 20%, according to a recent Carbon survey, what percentage of firms aren't using AI at all? You said 60%. And according to Carbon, only 22% aren't using AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
Do you buy this? I don't know if I buy this number because half the firms
it's
I
at
talk
all,
to,
right? Like, people would just hop on ChatGPT to experiment with it, and that counts.
Yes, right. That counts. But also, Carbon sample set is probably people that are affiliated with Carbon.
Yes.
And so for that reason, I think it's tech forward firms anyways. Yeah. I'm curious, what you think the use of AI, in traditional firms, like some of us are tech forward that are trying to leverage it as much as possible. But do you think the traditional firms are going to get much more on board?
What does on board mean? I mean, they're going to have no choice, just like everything else. Like, it's going to be embedded in all of the most useful tools that we use. And so they won't have a choice if they're using it or not. Just like a lot of people had no choice to get on in the cloud and get online. I think it's going to be like that in the near future. Like, it advances so fast. And from what I'm seeing, it's going to be some of these products too, some of these new products that what they're doing with it. So I don't know if that answers the question. I will say that I got my rap name from a Carbon survey that they did. They started talking about OKRs, and I had never really heard of that before. I was like, and I like these OKRs. It's pretty dope. I like my KPIs, but this OKRs, this is pretty fascinating. And then it was like, I was on the phone with Blake Oliver, and I said it by accident as I was talking. That's what I said my rap name is going to be. And his reaction was like, he loved it. So then I was like, well, maybe there's something to it. And that's how the rap name came about. It was a Carbon survey.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, on this one, I don't know if you saw, I just saw this announced today that PwC just signed something with OpenAI to offer ChatGPT Enterprise both to their employees and to their clients.
They
GPT,
did what?
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, TPG or something.
You said toilet paper, but it's okay.
But use the bathroom codes. But yeah, like, not only going to use it internally, but offer it as a service or a offering for their clientele as well. So I think it's the first time where an organization is going to be able to third party sell this out as well. And PwC early on that chain. So I feel, that's just a whole nother direction. You're not just providing this insight with your internal tools. You're providing some of the tools for their clients for them to be able to use it too. And think about that whole other avenue that you could take as a highly tech firm.
The genie's out of the bottle.
Absolutely.
Genie is out of the bottle. It is fantastic. I love ChatGPT and everything that we can do with it now, and it's just the beginning. So
I'm sorry if our listeners have heard me say this multiple times, but I liken it to, when the electronic spreadsheet came out. You had people at firms that their only job was they were a computer. They would do just the math over and over, and you'd say, hey, what happens if I change my prices? The firm would say, give us 3 days and we'll get back to you with what that's going to do. Electronic spreadsheet comes out and you fire all those people. Did we get rid of accountants? No, you just had to learn to use these tools, and our clients now ask more questions. They want to know what happens if I do these 50 price changes, because they can ask more questions instead of just those 2 scenarios when everyone had to do the math by hand.
So we already had our extinction level event with the spreadsheet and we survived it. This is an event for the writers because they never had a calculator like we did.
Mm-hmm.
So in school, we always had calculators and we still survived as accountants. I'm sure a lot of them were wiped out, but we still evolved and survived. This doesn't do much to us. This isn't threatening us at all, but it is threatening the writers. Those people that needed to write copy, now this is their extinction level event and they'll survive too, for sure. And
They just have to adapt.
Remember the days when we didn't have a computer to write for us?
That's brilliant. I'm going to quote you on that several times. Easy softball question we had to throw at you. How many problems does Jay-Z have? You correctly said 99.
Come on.
Don't know what they can't. We want to make sure we got
one. Yeah, there's one problem that he don't have. That ain't a problem. And then it became a problem for him, and he did a whole album. 444 was his one problem. Like, and he.
Yeah.
So it did come circle its way back.
He jinxed himself by putting it out there.
Yeah.
Last question. Starting December 31st, 2025, California will begin requiring retirement plans for companies with more than how many full-time employees? You said 3. The correct answer is 1.
That doesn't surprise me.
And here's why I bring this up, because California, they dropped it from, it was 100 employees a couple of years ago to 50 to 5, and now it's going to 1. Why should accountants care? We're not benefit plan specialists, but I feel like as the accounting industry moves and shakes, we are becoming expected to know more and more. Our clients aren't just asking for accounting work. They want a benefit advisor. They want someone that can help them with their tech and understand, like, is the term accountant or what an accounting firm does, is that starting to change? Like, do we almost need to redefine what accountants do? Because what people are searching for is much more than just bookkeeping, which is what accountants did in 1905. They didn't even do taxes then.
Yeah.
How do you see this shifting? Like, are we due for a rebrand?
I mean, that's what we've always kind of done. We keep people in line and we make sure they're following the rules, and we need to know the rules so they can follow them. And it becomes an opportunity for us if we want to advise on that as Gusto's people advisory or things like this. Like, these are opportunities for us. Whenever they change the rules, we're the ones who usually find out first when these rules are updated, and then you can let your clients know. And so, yeah, it's always been part of what we do, I think, because we're rule followers and we look for those and we want to make sure people are abiding by them. And that's just a new one. That's crazy though. 1 employee, that makes it. So this is what's really hard about what we do too. I'm still going to complain because it makes it so difficult for people to comply. Like, they're not going to make any money. Look at what it did to the marijuana industry and the compliance complexities that it has done to that, where they basically are operating as non-for-profits. They can't make money with all the regulations. They're easing up on some of the regulations, but then you have the black market, which has survived through the Holocaust. Like, everybody's always been selling drugs on the black market. That's always going to exist. So they make it so hard for people to follow the rules. That's all.
And it's always a moving target. Like, these things, our clients want compliance. You're right. But how does an accounting firm stay on top of all the tax regulations, but then employment requirements? And so, yeah, it does come, you have to work with someone like Gusto or another firm, because can we do it all? I don't think so. But yes, that is a brutal change. Jeremy, I don't know what it's like in the accounting industry, but a lot of us that are remote, that's going to factor in for all these remote firms when they're thinking, like, dare I dip my toe in a California labor pool? Because that's going to affect how my entire firm operates.
Oh, yeah. And I'm scared, just California, New York, some of these that just have just crazy labor laws where it's like you need to have an HR professional or a consultant HR person at the ready at all times just to make sure that you don't screw up. They're like our prison guard. Like, if we're the prison guard for the clients, making sure they stay in line, we need somebody else to make sure we're following all the HR rules now. So it's tough.
How does anybody make any money these days?
Well, with that sound, it is now halftime, and it is the time of the episode where we go to the sidelines and get out our orange slices and also have a little app snap. And Scotty, today you are here to talk to us about Xero. Now, I am so excited for your take because Jeremy and I, our firms are largely built on the Death Star that is Intuit and QuickBooks. And, knowing Xero and especially all the improvements we're making, I would love to hear your take on Xero as the backbone of an accounting firm.
Oh, I have a take. I have one take that I can give you. I can play it. I mean, I feel like you teed me up here. So I have a rap that I wrote for Xero that I could air or premiere. It hasn't played anywhere before. Yeah.
World premiere here on
World
Unaccountable. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exclusive.
All right, so bear with the volumes here. The levels are a little off. This is a demo take. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll play a little bit of the intro here. It's a teaser.
Approximately 18 years ago, under the direction of New Zealand's Raj Drury and in the interest of computer security, a single unified ledger, Accounting 2.0, was established. This tool's primary objective was to decentralize accounting and spread this software-as-a-service model across our planet, connected by a global network of remote services called the cloud.
That was like the intro. Imagine like Star Wars. Ian's going to make an edit of this where it's like the scrolling through as you see it. And this is saying tune into channel 0. So here it goes.
Yo, this new cloud accounting tool woke into it to bestow an evolution, a beautiful blue tech solution. Xero showed the masses what an app was with cache coding to shatter the globe's reliance on desktop as we know it. I'm talking about the grand invention around 2007 when Xero would grow out of New Zealand for technologically advanced tenants, simple finance, safe program, and browser-based sessions. 2012 had lots of skeptics, and the mobile version of our domestic desktop was pathetic. You can reject it for its soothing blue aesthetic and fail to recognize the beauty inside these debits. A very high percentage of accountants in our nation, green console worshipping desktop applications. For more construction of on-site server, pricey installations, redundant ongoing IT maintenance. They gave us real-time information, can take place in several different team locations. Unlimited seats and easy collaboration. For ecosystem customization, choose your own software applications. Because through application programming interfaces, they create integrations. Two-step secure authentication. National Xero ambassadors. People like Liz Mason, they speak and teach and made certifications. They're trying to free Western civilization from green domination. Well, you need to know that they changed the game. Cloud-based safe space with a beautiful interface.
Wow. Oh, well done. Wow.
Dang.
Did that answer your question?
I just wanted to get my flashlight in the air, start bouncing with the crowd. That was beautiful.
Oh man, I love to see y'all's reaction on that, man. Those lines landed. Like, you got it when I said the green, and you knew what I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Death Star. I mean, that was beautiful. But no, you hit on all the pain points, and really. So I just came back from the Accounting Today forum, and I still feel like there were so many firms I saw there that haven't been convinced of this move to the cloud. And you hit on half the pain points, half the things. Like, they're still struggling and paying outrageous costs for a remote server somewhere hosting that desktop application. And as you even said earlier, waiting for CDs in the mail for it to come. Yeah, that was beautiful. Oh, I could gush for hours.
Oh, well done. Yeah.
Dope. Well, yeah, this is my life, man. Everything's ground zero for me. Everything starts with Xero, and that's why it's right above my head right there. Like, hey, this is going to mean a lot. I'm going to be performing this at the conference. So I've always wanted to do that. Xero was one of the first conferences I ever went to. And I saw Greg Kite on one of the early ones, and he's doing comedy up there. I'm like, oh man, I would love to rap at a XeroCon one day. And this was 2016 or something like that. So I get to do it this year.
And for those listeners who know, Greg Kite, Oh My Fraud podcast, great listens. He's a stand-up comedian that also is a CPA. And yeah, you should absolutely check him out if you haven't. I don't know how we even follow up on that, but anything else you feel like we should know about Xero? I just recently started talking with him more and more.
So you guys got a treat. At the end of the episode, I'll play the last half, which is an entirely different song and another concept that I think you guys will like too. Since this first part landed, that's the one I was most worried about. The other one is fun. We'll play it at the end. It's a Kanye track too. I'll tease that.
Oh, nice.
When you had great references, Liz Mason, she's High Rock Accounting out of Arizona, right?
Yeah. She was one of the first National Xero ambassadors. So
Wow.
Another trick, I used Amanda's book to help write a lot of this. So Amanda Aguilar wrote the book about Xero. She wrote the book on Xero, and I kind of used the first few chapters. I told her that I needed to write this rap, and I said, I need some copy. Can I use your book? And she loved the idea. I also kind of hinted at what it's going to be. I was in Aruba with her for a Paget trip, and I kind of laid out what the whole rap was going to look like. And it was a few days after you guys had emailed me and said I needed to do 8 bars on the show, and I was nervous. So I wanted to get this rap done before I wrote this all for you guys.
That was amazing. Yes, XeroCon for pause. Should we have the dates for that?
It's August 14th and 15th in Nashville.
You're going to fit right in, sir. Jeremy, any questions I missed?
Well, I just think like what we're talking about Xero, and like I couldn't ask for a better introduction and overview than that. But like, do we feel so like the green domination that's here in the States and Jason, like my man crush, other than Tyler, even though you're getting up there, Scotty, after listening to that, like you're top 5 now after hearing that.
Top
man
5.
Crush.
Oh, well, right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I got
like
20 more of those where that came from.
Jason Stats just did a video on this too, on like the domination that QuickBooks had here and the alternatives, and then showed the stats overall. Like it was something like 80% in the US. But if you go to somewhere like Britain, Xero is 40%, and then you got a tail of like 20 other tools that are out there, FreshBooks. I don't know, Zoho was in there or whatnot. But do we feel like the US here is going to trend that way and get to these other tools, or do we feel like Intuit's got that big of a hold on things that it's going to just keep that domination for so long? I don't know.
Still think that Stats should have used the name Stat Snacks for his updates. You guys ended up with App Snacks, which I love. I think he should have called his stuff Stat Snacks. That was something that I told him on our first episode when we had him on, but it didn't catch on for him. So I'm glad you guys are using it. I don't know the answer to that. I think QuickBooks has a strong hold, and they do care about their market, and they have pivoted and changed. They were a sleeping giant that Xero woke, and they have done wonders with this cloud thing and their product. Their product was terrible in 2012. The online version of it was, and now accountants swear by it. You guys both use it. That's the only thing you use in your firms. So they have us by the balls, I guess. And most accountants, not the female accountants, obviously, but they have everybody where they want them right now, and they can do whatever they want in the market. And hopefully they stay allies with the accountants. But at the same time, they slash our tires when we're all in the party. Like they invite us all to the big party, and then they go make an announcement to say, now we're going to work directly with your clients and be direct competitors with you in the app.
The expert move.
Yeah. And I know that they backpedaled a little bit on that. And then they said, okay, well, we're not going to market it to clients that have an advisor. But Xero never did that. Xero was always about the advisor and the business owner. Let's all work together. We're going to work on our product, but we're not going to create a solution that undercuts advisors. We're going to say that you should work with an advisor. We're going to promote that you do work with an advisor, and it's not us. I mean, that's one thing Intuit did. There's plenty of others where they change the pricing, they change the products, they change the payroll platform, and then they do another payroll platform, and then another one, and then another one, and then I think they have 7 payroll platforms right now. It's a giant mess that was a mess that actually is tamed. I think that they're going to build the all-in-one encompassing solution for clients and accountants alike, and they will be the holy grail at the end of the day. But there has to be other people that keep them like honest.
For me, the hardest part is some of my favorite tools. It's the iPhone argument where every single app gets built to work with this thing first, and then it goes other places. And so some of the tools I love that are instrumental in my firm, Reach reporting has changed the game for me and a lot of my clients. Reach works best with QuickBooks Online. So as much as I want to leave, it's the thought of like, using another
It
tool
used
or
to be the
software.
opposite, man. We used to have to, we would convince clients that to go with Xero because all the apps work with Xero because
Mhm.
Intuit's API was closed at the time. Now everybody's marketing and developing for Intuit that I don't even get to use some of the new products. LiveFlow, can't use it at my firm. They don't work with Xero. And I think there was another example earlier, like, and obviously you said Reach. I know Reach does work with Xero, but there's plenty now. Like Digits doesn't even, that was the one that we said earlier.
Yeah.
Digits doesn't even work with Xero.
So it'll be interesting going forward to see what happens in the industry, but appreciate your take because I think there's a lot of us that are interested in alternatives to Intuit.
I'm a company man. I love Apple. Actually, I'm definitely not a company man. That's the only thing that I'm a company for. But like, I know what it is to be in that bubble. I love what Apple does. Apple has always done it the right way and presented everything that just works. I don't think Intuit has done that yet, but they're definitely on their way to being able to do that. It's just they never set out to do that in the beginning. They bought a lot of dissimilar products and kind of welded them together or duct taped them together.
Their payroll platform, spreadsheet sync, and buying outdated. Yeah.
But and then the tool that won our bracket challenge is the product that fixes QuickBooks and that
Right
makes
tool.
QuickBooks do all the things that Xero could already do, like, and other stuff and a lot of cool things. Right Tool won our whole competition, and that's because they are the enhancement to. They beat QuickBooks 1-to-1 matchup, like in the tournament, because they make them better.
Dare I make an argument? Can we pivot from Xero real quick? And I know we're going long here, but whatever. I don't care because I love this conversation. Your bracket challenge. Dare I make the argument, the tools that ended up in the final four, some of your heaviest hitters, Keeper, Right Tool, Bookkeeping Side
Gusto.
Hustle, Jason Stats, Gusto, those all have cult followings. Like I follow the Right Tool community, the Keeper community, Kate Johnson and whatnot, and Jason Stats, they all have cult followings. And because those tools have built communities, they came out in full force. Where Right Tool doesn't have the money some of these bigger platforms do, but man, they could crush because they have a devoted, loyal fan base. Same with Keeper. I'm curious.
Same with Uncat last year.
As these companies grow, it's no longer just about the software, but it's about the community. Would you agree, disagree?
Always would say that. I would say it's about the community and the leadership and the vision of the company and what they're doing for us as accountants outside of that. Carbon was the apple of my eye for years before we even started using it because of the content that they put out. They have a community now too. Everything that they put out was top notch and things to help me as an owner. None of it really promoted the product much at all. It was always like, yeah, and we have a product too. And they still do it very intentionally like that. They have the community and everything else, but their product, my team, it's their favorite software that we own, that we use. They love Xero too, but man, do they love Carbon. And so Carbon did a lot of these things right. I think a lot of they did pretty well in the tournament too. But man, practice management apps, that's a very contested bracket. That bracket, I don't know who's going to make it out every year. Financial Sense did really well this year too, but everybody's got cult followings. You got Financial Sense making music videos now, and like everybody's having some fun with all of this stuff because nobody's taking themselves as seriously as they used to, and they are promoting the community. And I think that's like, I agree with you 1,000%. I always used to say that kind of stuff.
Well, Scotty, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Any last plugs, advertisements, accounting high, where you're going to be? Hit us with what's going on in the world of Scotty Scarano.
I'm going to be performing at Randy's Bridging the Gap conference. I don't know what I'm going to be performing there. That's in Chicago in July. And so Bridging the Gap and XeroCon coming up, performing there. This is like the rapper talking, the okay rapper. We've got accounting high. Ian's still helping me figure out what that is. I have two potential paths that I can preview for our audience. So the bracket challenge kind of led us down this. We wanted to create the ultimate audience hack and grow our audience through everybody else, build that out, and then figure out what we're going to sell or what we're going to do, what we're going to offer. We have nothing yet, but we have to honor what got us there, which was everybody else in that challenge. We grew our list to 3,000 people. Now what we're going to do with it. So one natural path was, what if we sold everybody's stuff? What if we created a marketplace, and Accounting High was the marketplace where you can buy everybody's courses or other type of things, maybe conference tickets or potentially even their apps. But everybody that has something to sell in that bracket challenge has a lot of reviews now too, and they have past performance. So maybe we could leverage that platform and turn it into a shopping cart, and you can buy stuff. So we could be the Apple, like the Apple Store, the App Store, or the other app stores that are out there now, Amazon for accounting. That's one potential path. And the other is the obvious. I should turn it into a community, because that's what it is. It's the community of the high school. I think I've been getting in the way of that. I always wanted to like perfect what this is first. I think I'm like in the way of that turning into potential. So I'm close to getting out of the way of that. So we're close to announcing what clubs are going to be at Accounting High. There'll be small cohorts of people that join in, firm practice owners that all are part of this one club. Let's say it's advisory or other topics that we talk about, other big problems in the profession. It's a group of peers, no vendors allowed, together, working together to solve a problem and make a presentation, or like something fun, like a school project maybe. I could have themes for each one, but the cohorts all work together to create like maybe a music video or a presentation, a PowerPoint, and then they're graded by the other cohorts. So everybody gets a grade at the end of the semester. And it's like, maybe like $500 a cohort or something like that. So it's actual, like, we are going to learn something here, but there is nobody's teaching their methods or anything. Everybody's just working together to figure something out.
Can I put out a bold suggestion or thought here as like, you doing that and the idiots like us doing what we're doing could save the profession if we could get to the young people out there and realize that you don't have to be a stuffy accountant zombie and like really succeed both personally, professionally, and everything in this business if you just go and do it the right way, right? Like, I feel like that message never gets to any of the youth. And trust me, I am not youth anymore and like hard time connecting with it. But like, I feel like if people like us that know how fun and cool and innovative and supportive and all the things that we could be, if we could get that out, like there rises all of the accounts, even if they're not CPAs, just like good, knowledgeable, smart, data-driven relationship people. I think like that could be a huge turning point.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing it though.
Side note too, I hadn't heard of Bridging the Gap. So I had to go and see what that was. And I look at the speakers and I scroll down to just when you get there and you're in a picture in my screen with 8 other individuals. And it's like everybody wearing suits and there are standard photos and you're just there, backwards hat, mic, just ready to do it. I love it. That is fantastic.
Oh, dope. I'm not sure which picture that is, but I could roll with
good.
that.
Yeah.
I'm the odd one usually in those crowds. I'm the rapper, but I know no other way. I don't know how to be any other way. Because I could put on the polo like I used to and put on the khakis and go play golf. I used to do that too, but that's no fun to me anymore. Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah.
Well, Scotty, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully next year we can make it as your 16 seed in the bracket and then, get wiped from the floor by a 1 seed in the first round, like, those small schools do. But
that happened to from zero to millions this year. They went up against Stats, a 16 and a 1 seed. It was not pretty.
Well, we got things to aspire to get destroyed in the first round. But
I would love to see you guys in the bracket. That'll be dope.
And we'll get you back again and see how you fare next time.
Dope. Well, thanks for having me on.
All right. Pleasure, sir.
Peace out, homies.
Jeremy, that was awesome. We are so lucky to have Scotty on our show, but dude, we're out of time. It's time for our winner and loser.
So we have progressed. We had our poll on the Facebook page on the best thing to come out of 1987. And we put some things out there, right? Princess Bride, Excel, Tyler Otto.
Yeah.
But we had some good additions too. But winner of the week, far and away, was The Princess Bride with over 60% of the votes.
Easily one of my favorite, not even easily. It's top movie of all time. One of the best quotable movies. I'm not a witch, I'm your wife.
But after what you just said, I'm not even sure I want to be that anymore.
You never had it so good.
Yeah.
That movie, every line of Billy Crystal is perfect. Yeah. Do you actually know in Salt Lake this week they were doing a live viewing of Princess Bride with Carrie Elwes on hand to do a Q&A after. Sadly, I couldn't go, but Talk about
That's
bucket
what-
lists.
It must be some kind of anniversary or something, right? Because we had a live showing too. And like, he wasn't there, but like you could go to the theater and actually go see it here. So there must be something going on. Which,
Here's what I will say. I got a few votes. I didn't even vote for myself. I voted for Excel, but
yeah. So I won't call you the loser of the week. No, I'm going to call you the loser of the week because I felt you coming in not confident or confident. But yeah, 16% of the vote you got, narrowly beating one of our ads, which was my vote. Getting rickrolled with Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Oh, Ian, hit me some of that. You're welcome, listeners, that's going to be in your head for the next days. And then Excel, 5%. Little surprise. That was the low.
Yeah.
And the other ad we had was Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. Also, pretty classic song. So,
Jeremy, until next time, I think we have one more episode before you and I are in person at BKX. We need to figure out what the heck we're doing there because you and I are both talking. Get lucky and pants optional. Everyone, get your tickets if you haven't already.
yeah, and you really only have to come for the first day, right? We both talked then, Kirsten too. You could just call it a day after that. No, I mean, so many good speakers there. And like the vendors, if you saw the list, so many good friends at this point that we've seen them year after year. Yeah, really looking forward to that trip.
For all of you that, you heard Scotty talk about make friends with all these platforms, all these softwares, and get your foot in the door, it's the perfect way. Go to conferences and literally talk to them. Not just like ask questions, but get to know them. Make friends because it pays off in the long run.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like, too, I haven't been as many as you have, but the BKX one, the people there are so much easier to get in with because they're not like the $20 million firm owners that feel like sometimes they're entitled. They're just cool people trying to do a good thing for small businesses or nonprofits or whatever their niche is, right?
Absolutely. Well, Jeremy, until next time, keep it real.
We at war. We at war with old ledgers and IRS agents. But most of all, we at war with broken bank connections.
Zero works.
Rod showed me the way because this ledger connects bank accounts.
Zero works for me, for me, for me. Suicide hustlers, biz owners, accountants, tax preparers, even bookkeepers.
Xero works for them.
To the outsourced controllers, fractional CFOs, moms working from home.
Xero works for them.
Not Z, it's X. See, bank feeds sync cleanly. Xero keeps me and my team mostly green free, cause desktops almost nearly extinct. We cash code clients so fast we don't blink. I ain't here to argue about new QBO features or here to convert atheists into believers. I'm just trying to say the way these books need keepers, the way Blake really need Leary, that's the way I need Xero. So here goes my keynote, dog. We need more heroes. They say you can rap about anything except for Xero. That means funds, tax, finance, AI automate. But if I adopt cloud tech, my desktop won't integrate, huh? Well, if this really machine learning, it'll probably automate my month ends. Then the weeks turn to days to seconds and integrate everything in the cloud. Let's go, XeroCon, everybody scream it out.
Xero works.
Rod, show me the way because this ledger connects bank accounts.
Xero works.
The only thing that I pray is bank feeds don't fail me now.